On your mark, get set. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning. Kevin Durant, you should have never left California.
This bronsexual upset me in having to bring this teenage idiot from Wisconsin into a sports conversation. Are you really surprised the Cowboys are giving up on Ezekiel Elliott?
Whoa. Hell no! Well, no one cares about baseball.
Bitch, are you for real?
Oh, yeah! Wait, no one cares about baseball? You mean after the ass whooping the Rangers got this?
She.
Here we go on a Friday. Good morning. Yes, that's a 3-foot smile on my face as we welcome you to the fabulous, fantastic football freaky Friday edition of Snowman in the Morning, the first official football Friday of the year. That is Cole Johnson, the man in charge of Cole Sports with a Z. And our picks this morning will be brought to you by BetUS.com as is part of the show. How are you doing this morning, sir? What?
Swept the Rangers. They are in first place in the AL West, like we all told you funky fools that.
Did we not say this at the top of the season?
We said this in April, middle of April.
Yeah, we said this at the top of the season. We said this after 60 games that the Rangers would fall flat on their ass.
And they fell so far flat, they are now, if the season would end today, they're out the playoff race.
They're out.
They're out the playoff
They're
race.
out. And what did we say before we get to all the football we're going to talk about today? What did we say would be the downfall of the Texas Rangers? 3 simple words: lack of pitching.
And that bullpen was the demise of that team.
And the bullpen got shellacked in 3 games against the Astros, where the Rangers got outscored. Ready for this number? 39 to 10. 39 to 10.
I mean, I thought it was the Texas. I thought the Texans were seriously. I actually thought the Texans were playing the Cowboys. I was like, wait. Astros score 14 runs one game, 13 runs another game, and 12 runs another game. I said, how is that possible?
And the 12 was the lowest number.
Yes.
They are 20-5 at Globe Life Field. 20-5.
Yeah, they love playing in that ballpark. They love playing there.
Oh, and to all my friends that thought where is it? I know all the Rangers have got to be saying
you're despicable.
Because in the last game it wasn't even Altuve that was doing the damage.
No, Altuve
it was Jose Abreu.
Yeah, Jose Abreu did the damage in that game, in the last game.
7 RBIs.
Yep, 2 homers and 7 RBIs. Oh, and for those and for those who want to claim that I'm a Johnny Come Lately Astros fan and want me to be quiet and want me to not wave the banner of the Astros that I have been waving since 1980, you can take 3 of these words that's about to be uttered in front of your presence.
Shut up, bitch!
And by the way, if the playoffs were to start today, Texas Rangers,
You're out.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and
but
no Jacob deGrom for next year.
oops. Oh gosh. Ooh, now that hurts.
And
Seriously.
Max Scherzer versus Justin Verlander. Yeah, who got the better of that matchup? Oops.
Well, from someone
Okay.
who's out to someone who's about to come in before we break down what happened last night.
Mm-hmm.
And now batting, the man who wants the Cowboys to be slaughtered in the Meadowlands Sunday night.
Yep.
Number 420, Wize El Jefe. Number 420.
What's going on?
Giants. Let's
What's up,
go.
man?
Let's go Giants. We will make all our picks later, and I'm going to do something I never thought I'd have a chance to do. I'm
That
going to
is-
roll these, and we're going to talk about what happened last night in Kansas City.
Okay.
As you look at the highlights, courtesy of NBC, you see the fans getting into it. I pose a question that I posed in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Why was Patrick Mahomes their leading rusher?
They have no faith in their running game, and
None.
I don't understand it. It's not like the Chiefs' offensive line is horrible or
Mm-mm.
dinged. They just simply for some reason they just get these fits where they're pass happy. I don't
Mhm.
understand it, but that's just how they are. They're pass happy.
Let me come to Wise. Wise, what do you accredit this victory for the Lions to? And you were the one that picked the Detroit Lions to win this game. I wasn't here for the pick, but Detroit was my pick also. I just felt that the Kansas City Chiefs didn't have enough offensively to keep up with the defense of the Lions, and that's exactly what happened last night.
Listen, once I knew Travis Kelce was not playing, I knew it was going to be a wrap because I knew their defense. Chris Jones, they need you. They better have reached and call Chris Jones.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Because
Here's the play of the game right here. This was the
it's
play of the
different.
Mm,
game.
No, I don't think that's the play
No,
of the game. Although
do you
that
know what's a lot?
helped.
Do you know a lot?
That
You know how
helps.
many times? Listen, for all of you guys that was celebrating, oh yeah, we got Kadarius Toney from the Giants. You want to know why we got rid of Kadarius Toney?
Because
He
you couldn't
showed
catch the
you 3
football.
times
The
why
team-
we got rid of Kadarius Toney.
There was
You
two
couldn't
big
catch-
time
you couldn't catch
drops,
football.
and those two would be plays of the game to me. The
Mhm.
Kadarius Toney drops.
Mhm.
So everybody
One
was
led
like,
to a
oh,
pick
Giants, we
six,
stole him from
and
the Giants.
one led to a pick 6 for the Lions. The other led to the potential game-winning drive for the Chiefs to stall.
Yep. And when you don't have that safety blanket and Travis Kelce, and of course this led to a touchdown. When you don't have that safety blanket in Travis Kelce, which is Mahomes' favorite receiver, and when you don't have other receivers to like step up and really take care of business for you, that's a problem. That
Bro,
is
look-
a huge problem.
Look at Jared Goff in the pocket being he's standing in the pocket.
He was rarely touched last night.
Nope.
So you telling me that
I don't think he was sacked at all. I don't think he was sacked at all last night.
I don't think he was sacked either. But
Here's the pick 6
yeah,
that we spoke of.
to me, I think for the Chiefs, that was the play of the game.
Mhm.
And I mean in the negative sense because they were up 14-7 going into the third,
And they were on the move.
with the ball on the move, and then their momentum got absolutely destroyed right there.
Mm-hmm. And that led to the win, and on the last 2 drives for Kansas City, their last 2 scoring drives, 2 field goals. Meanwhile, Detroit got 7 points, held on and won the game.
Right.
And there's one of the drops by Kadarius Toney.
right in his hands.
Right
Smack
in his hands.
And it's messed up that this is going to go as an interception from Mahomes.
Mhm.
That ball could not have been thrown any better.
No.
That
No.
that interception is 0% Patrick Mahomes' fault. That was all on the Kadarius.
It's all Kadarius Toney. That's all Kadarius Toney.
It just goes to show you how important. Like last year, everybody was talking about Tyreek Hill he was really gonna be missed. No, Travis Kelce is what make that offense go. You like, cause he's such a big weapon, right?
Yeah,
that you have to double team him.
Yeah,
even if you double team him, he's still big and fast and strong. Like it's hard to contain him.
And that's what the Chiefs want. The Chiefs want you to double team him.
And here's something else that's said about Travis Kelce, and it's also true. He reads defenses as well as Patrick Mahomes does.
He does,
and he finds the hole where he needs to go.
Bro, Travis Kelce
needs to go. That's why he has over 100 receptions last year, because
but by the time it's all said and done, he can be the best tight end in all football.
Oh yeah, no question.
Absolutely,
no question.
Because of everything that he brings to the table, and I do mean the word everything that he brings to the table.
Now the Chiefs offensively, they should be ashamed of themselves.
Oh
because, quite frankly, the Chiefs defense, they did play a little soft because that's where they missed Chris Jones up the middle. But to their credit, they only allowed 14 points. So and the defense, the defense, they up their level of play for the most part. The offense let them down with the game plan, because to me this is offensively all the way around, except for Mahomes. To me, the game plan and the wide receivers and the lack of the running game
and
let the whole team down because of that.
They left 8 points on the table.
Yeah,
they turned those 2 field goals into touchdowns. They win by 7. Easy. They win by 7, but because Kadarius Toney dropped a couple of passes and the Chiefs offense for the most part for most of the night stalled, and they were outgained last night 375 to 316.
Yeah. And thank you, Victor. He says the effects of the enemy not being there might be no, it's not a might. It was felt. And the reason why it is felt. Now, I talked about this with a couple of my homeboys that follow football real closely. I asked them that just to be unbiased, or to make sure that my opinion is on point. I said, was it just me, or did it look like the Chiefs as a whole was softer than usual? And both those brothers said, "Yep, you're right. They were."
And not only were they soft, they're also something that you would rarely see from the Chiefs. They were also very tentative.
Yeah,
bro. But that goes back to Chris Jones.
And to me, that's the loss of the enemy, in my opinion. I'm sorry, Wize. I'm sorry. I talked a little.
Well, I mean, on the offense, on the defense, like the defense, to me, the defense played well. But it just showed you that. Imagine what having Chris Jones, what kind of impact he has. Like what kind of plays that might have happened. It just shows. It's just not having your best offensive weapon is gonna hurt. Because you don't use Mahomes doesn't now. I'm not sure if he has any faith in the receivers he has.
Well, I mean, he went to 11 different ones last night, so he tried to see which one would be the guy, and unfortunately, his answer was none of them. As of last night,
none of them stepped up and made the big catch.
And to your point about Chris Jones, I agree with you too, Wize. If Jones was on the field last night, the Chiefs, even with them big time drops the wide receivers had, would have won that game, because guaranteed Jones would have influenced a couple of sacks, would have had probably a couple tackles for loss, and probably would have had a big third down play where you don't really see it on the sheet, you don't see it on the score sheet, but you'll definitely see it in highlights where it's like, okay, the Lions offense had to get picked for number 95, and somebody else made the play.
And there would have been at least a couple of coverage sacks last night also. In fact, and matter of fact, there were no coverage sacks last night.
Right.
There were no coverage sacks last night.
That's his influence, because you have to double team him. You can't see when you have Chris Jones on that line next to to what Aaron Donald, Micah Parsons. He is one of the top 5 defensive linemen in football.
Yep. In football.
I would even throw your Dexter Lawrence in that group, sir.
Oh no, I'm Dexy.
They must be double teamed every single play. Yeah.
And what it helps with our team, adding Munoz, Roche from Tampa Bay, and then the two linebackers in Thibodeau and Aziz Elijah all together. It's going to be different, man. And then we added the linebacker we missed in Okereke. So with the Chiefs, that defense, like, he is your star defensive player. He's what makes the defense go.
No question.
Without question.
That's like if we Dexter Lawrence, it's going to hurt us.
There's no question about that.
Yeah.
Let me before we go to break, let's take a look at some of the stats that came from last night's game. I said 375 to 316. It was actually 368 to 316. That's how much the Lions outgained the Chiefs. 250 through the air, and they outrushed the Chiefs. Ready for this number? 118 to 90.
Yeah.
118 to 90. 19 first downs for the Lions, 17 for the Chiefs. And you know the Chiefs love doing crazy stuff on first down. Each team converted 5 third downs. The fourth down efficiency, 1 for 3 for Detroit. You know what that one was. It came in the first half, and it led to a touchdown. How many times have you seen the Chiefs run less plays and lose? 70 plays for Detroit, 62 for the Chiefs.
Another reason why the Lions won that game. Yeah. And it speaks to time of possession.
32-28 to 27-22.
When you have a team that understands that when you have a team that understands the assignment, and the assignment for the Lions was, we need to have the ball out of number 15's hands as much as possible.
Yep.
And if you do, that gives us a better chance to win. When your team understands the assignment, they execute. This is what happens.
Leave you with this before we go to a break. Marcus Valdez Scantling. 2 receptions, 48 yards. 2.
And he was supposed to be the guy that was to be the number 2 option in the passing game. But you see how little faith, obviously, that Mahomes has. 2 receptions and only 2 receptions, 48 yards. One of them was a 34-yard pass catch.
Yep.
So
the effects of not having Eric Bieniemy is going to be widespread
and
throughout the course of the season.
But let other people tell you if let other people tell you that it was that Andy Reid the one was making the play calls. He was just the
last night
offense coordinator in the name.
Not last night he wasn't. That's not an Andy Reid led offense. Not the way they played. Not as tentative as they played last night. No, because Andy Reid loves to gamble. Andy Reid loves to push the ball down your throat.
Yeah, he loves to gamble. He loves it when the offense has confidence to where you would think they're cocky and bold.
You would
think. How much of a gamble you think?
And that was not last night's. That was not last night's offense.
But you're missing Travis Kelce. You're missing Travis Kelce, right? Your receiving core isn't really that good.
And you know something.
But the thing about and I agree with you, Wize, 100%, bro.
True.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I think was lost on all of us. I really believe the Chiefs, as an organization, thought their wide receiver core was good enough.
Yeah.
But they found out on a national stage last night it was not.
It was. Here's the other thing.
Yeah.
Where was David Montgomery? Where was he's from the Lions. I beg your pardon. Where was Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Now that's the question you need to ask.
Where was Clyde Edwards-Helaire? I read the team wrong. I apologize for that.
But they barely used Isaiah Pacheco, who was the lead rusher of the Chiefs last year. Barely used him in that game.
Barely being the operative word.
But you're right.
They have no faith in that running game.
None.
Now you're gonna lack faith in your receiving core because There was numerous drops.
Yep.
Multiple receivers dropped multiple passes that were easy catches.
That should have been easy catches because Mahomes makes those throws and the Chiefs receivers make those catches in their sleep.
So, but that's why, like, there's no one on that. There's no receiver on that team that pumps fear in my heart when I look at them. From like as a defensive player, there's no one on that wide receiver crew that's like, oh man, I gotta watch it with this one. He's gonna burn me or something. There's no one on that receiver crew that puts that fear. Who? Name someone on that team, receiver wise.
Last night, no.
See,
even prior before that,
you can't name anybody.
And see, and to your point right there, Wize. This is why a lot of people would say, well, I don't really believe the Chiefs to be world champs, because even if Kelsey's on the field and you do account for him, and if the double actually works, a defense is going to think, okay, fine. We will take our chances with the other receivers. We believe we can beat you if we limit, not necessarily eliminate, limit Kelsey's impact, because the rest of them is not going to beat us.
Who else are you going to go? Who else were they going to go to last night? Yeah. There's the point. Who else were they going to go to? Let's pause for a break. When we come back, you'll hear Sam Shady, you'll hear Ben Sudderth, and then at the top of hour 2, we will make our picks for the opening week of the 2023 NFL season, along with Wize El Jefe and Cole Johnson. I'm the Snowman. This is Snowman in the Morning. We're back in a flash.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
What do you get when you watch or listen to the Life Happens podcast? Well, I'll let them tell you.
Kim and I are both ministers of the gospel, and what Life Happens podcast is a beautiful balance by simply taking our spirituality with real life and merging it together to create a beautiful balance. And that's what we do.
BS3 Network proudly presents Life Happens podcast, where Christianity and life intersect. Live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
'Cause we take this job so serious.
Man, I went home that day and talked to my wife, Vicky. And Vicky was like, "What's wrong with you? You pissed off?" "Yeah, I got this partner I'm working with back in the radio station, man. The Negro be lying." What in the all types of blue hell?
Yes, it's Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
The incomparable Chris Bass. You will hear and see him later on today. And you're going to hear this guy right now. Before I bring him on, I got to greet him properly.
To victory. B-A-T-L-E-S.
You're going to hear that a lot because Sam Shady's with me right now. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Brian. Thank you for having me.
Now, you know I can't bring you on without playing your favorite theme song. It just wouldn't be right if I didn't play it.
Absolutely. It starts my Friday off right every week.
It surely does. And y'all get a cupcake this week in the New England Patriots. Now, I don't want to say it that way, but on paper, doesn't it look like a colossal mismatch?
Yeah, I got to be honest. There's some things the Patriots did this past offseason that I'm like not really quite understanding what the bigger picture was. And that's saying a lot because Bill Belichick normally has a good view of where he wants to go with his team, and it's very clear typically. And this is one of those situations, one of the few years since he's become the head coach where I just don't see it. I don't see what he's doing. I don't understand a lot of the moves they made. I don't see a higher purpose for the roster that he's assembled the way he's assembled it. And it's very interesting to see that New England has fallen off so much since Tom Brady left.
Hard since 2019. They're 25-26 under the hoodie since Tom Brady left. Gives you an idea of the influence of one Tom Brady. Sam Shady on the Invader Coffee guest line. Our Football Friday brought to you by BetUS.com. We'll be making our picks a little later. And as I said, this game, which is a 425 game, looks like a colossal mismatch because meanwhile, with some of the moves that the Patriots made that you question, with some of the moves that the Eagles made, including acquiring DeAndre Swift on a draft night trade, it's like, can the rich get any richer?
Well, apparently they can. I mean, I got to be real honest. When we went into this offseason, I expected that the Eagles were going to fall out of their Super Bowl window. I knew that we were going to be paying Jalen Hurts. I knew that we had several players that were nearing up on the end of their contract. And let's not forget what happened with Darius Slay. Darius Slay was technically released. And at that point, I, as an Eagles fan, started to panic because Darius Slay is our best player in our secondary at this point. And we just flat out released him with little to no news as to why that happened. We now know why, because they were working on a contract restructure that brought him back. But I was amazed to see James Bradbury come back. I was amazed to see Darius Slay back after what happened. But we also brought in a couple defensive linemen in the first round of the draft that are really going to step up, and we expected to lose Hargrave this offseason. That's why they drafted Jordan Davis last year. So I'm very interested to see how the defense all comes together. I think we might actually be better this year than we were last year.
Which is the scariest thing, which is the absolute scariest thing, that an Eagles defensive line that was top 3 last year, Eagles defense that was top 3 last year, getting better. And then there's this young fellow by the name of Jalen Carter that you drafted out of Georgia.
Oh, he's unbelievable. He is unbelievable. I had a lot of questions about those 2 back-to-back picks because obviously, for whatever reason, Philadelphia seems to love their Georgia players right now. And it almost seems like they will draft just about anybody from Georgia if they think they're a first-round talent. And at first, I had my qualms about this, but seeing the way he performed in the preseason, he looks like he's legit. He looks like he's ready to be an NFL player. And on the flip side, I was very, very excited and encouraged by what I saw with Nolan Smith as well. Nolan Smith, in my mind, is a gigantic question mark. I understand that he was on the Georgia defense that has an immense amount of talent, specifically on that defensive line. But the guy didn't really produce at the level of a first-round pick in college, and that worried me quite a bit. But again, he looked like he is a good player. He looks like he's NFL ready, and obviously he's still going to take some time to be a starter because he's probably going to sit behind Hassan Reddick. But at the same time, it's that next step. He's going to be the guy to take over for Reddick when Reddick's contract ends, and we just keep that momentum rolling long term.
The defending NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles has mentioned they open against the New England Patriots in defense of not only the NFC East title, but also the NFC Championship that begins this Sunday. 4:05 is the time at Gillette Stadium. So take a look around the NFC. Let's start with last night and the Detroit Lions, to no surprise of me, going into Kansas City and stunning the Kansas City Chiefs by 1. Looking at that game last night, there's one question that pops in my mind, and I know you have the same question. Why is Patrick Mahomes your leading rusher?
Actually, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because honestly, that was shocking to see. Traditionally, he's a mobile guy. We all know that. He can escape the pocket when necessary. But I was alarmed at the fact that, excuse me, that because of Travis Kelce being out, it seemed like with him not having that security blanket, his security blanket was running the ball. So it seemed like anytime he went through his first 2 reads, he didn't see a guy open, he just took off. And it might have been just his first read, which is kind of shocking given the fact that this is the man that we consider the best quarterback in the NFL currently. And you're coming off your first read and you're just running? Like, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either. I mean, this is probably the most patient quarterback in the NFL, and Patrick Mahomes, who loves to make plays from the pocket. And that Detroit defense really harassed him last night.
Yeah, they did. And credit goes to Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn. Man, what a job coaching that team last night. Obviously, if you look at these two teams on paper, Detroit is the much less talented team. It's not even remotely close on paper.
No,
but then you go into that game, and Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson were in it to win it from the very first drive. They were not leaving anything on that field. I mean, we saw them go for that fake punt on 4th down when it was they were on their own 14-yard line, and they converted, and then later on threw a long bomb on a 3rd and long and ended up being a touchdown. That's the kind of coaching style I expected to see from Dan Campbell, because I wanted him to be aggressive. I mean, it's Detroit. Your expectations are already low given what's happened there over the past 2 decades, 3 decades. Then you might as well go for broke. I mean, let's be honest. Chances are, if you don't make it to the playoffs in the next couple of years, you're probably going to end up fired anyway. So you might as well leave everything on the table. And that's exactly what they did last night. And that's exactly why they found that win last night.
That's how you stunned 76,000 at Arrowhead Stadium. And going forward for the Lions, you said a moment ago, you expected them to be ultra aggressive. That 4th down convert, that fake punt on 4th and 2 from their 17, which led to a touchdown drive. And I cannot say enough or give enough praise to that Detroit defense in harassing Patrick Mahomes last night and forcing him to be un-Patrick Mahomes-like.
You're right. I mean, I know it's not all Aiden Hutchinson, but the way he's kind of led the way and transformed that defensive line in one season has been unbelievable. I mean, it's insane to watch, because Detroit's been bad for so long. I mean, really, the one coach that I had hoped this whole time would bring them back to prominence was Dan Campbell. I love his style. I love his energy. I love how he's just very in your face. I love that when coaches are like that. And we need that energy in the NFL. And in order for him to stick around, he's got to win. And so hopefully this continues for Detroit. I really think they're a dark horse playoff team this year. A lot of people don't realize, but Jared Goff has been playing better in Detroit than he did with the Rams, which who saw that coming? He was with Sean McVay, an offensive mastermind, and now he's with Dan Campbell, a guy who was a tight end for 12 years in the NFL. So it's unbelievable.
Yeah, the toughness abound. And you talking about Aiden Hutchinson and how he has transformed that defensive line in Detroit. There's a defensive lineman that was just signed recently that transformed San Francisco. Of course, I'm speaking of Nick Bosa, the reigning defensive player of the year. With him in camp finally, even though he's only going to get a couple of days to get ready for Pittsburgh, how big is this for the 49ers?
Oh, it's gigantic. It's gigantic. I know 49ers fans everywhere were starting to get a little bit nervous. You were only 3 days away from the season, and it hadn't been done. In fact, last report I had heard was they were a far way apart, similar to that
Right.
Chris Jones situation we saw play out last night when he did not play. I honestly thought Nick Bosa would not be available for the 49ers in week 1, and John Lynch and the brass for the 49ers got it done. And in my mind, had you gone into the 2023 season with Nick Bosa not signed, that's a colossal failure.
Yes.
I mean, he's one of, if not the best defensive player in the league right now, let alone on your team. And you have a defensive player as a general manager. So to me, he knows the value of that defensive lineman more than anybody. Like, to me, it was very surprising to see this contract negotiation drag out this long. But I'm glad they got it done. I'm really glad they got it done for 49ers fans' sake. And I honestly think that was very key for their whole season, quite honestly.
Indeed, it was key for their entire season. Pick a game that you're paying it besides Philadelphia at New England, and besides Frisco and Pittsburgh. Pick a game that you're looking at that could set the tone for the teams involved this coming season.
Well, as you know, I'm a Colorado guy, so of course I'm always going to be watching the Broncos. I really want to see how this team responds to having Sean Payton as the head coach. I really like the staff that he's assembled. I just recently wrote an article about it, and they've got more championship-level coaches on this staff than they've had in a long time, and I really think it's going to pay off. I just don't know if they're a playoff team right away. So I think this first game will answer a lot of questions. I don't think it's going to answer every question, obviously, but I'm just really interested to see how they come out of the box. I hope they come out firing similar to Detroit, because, I mean, we haven't seen a winning season in Denver since 2016.
Right.
You know, I think we're like 48-72 or something like that since winning the Super Bowl, and we've been through 4 head coaches. So we need some hope in Denver. We need a win here. We need a quick win. We can't wait till week 2, week 3, because fans are going to tune out immediately, and you need that home field advantage in Denver, along with that altitude we got to go with.
It has been so quiet at Mile High Stadium. They get the Raiders to start, and Denver's favored in this game. According to our BetUS line, they're favored by a field goal. It's a -3 against the Raiders, but I think Denver will win by more than that because of the disorganization of Josh McDaniels and the Raiders.
Well, I think this game's going to be really interesting because of that. I mean, there's a lot going on with the Raiders that, again, opens up questions. I mean, neither of these teams are necessarily super solid. You know, we don't necessarily think either one of these teams is just going to roll through the division by any stretch. So, you know, we're talking about possibly 2 9-8 teams right here. And it's going to be this game, like I said, will set the tone for not only Denver, but the Raiders as well. I mean, how are they going to go this year with the change at quarterback with Jimmy Garoppolo, as well as many changes across the roster, and the rumors that they almost got rid of Devontae Adams and all these other things? It's just, like you said, it seems so disorganized. It's so interesting to see guys like Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick, and it's like this season in particular, it seems like they just don't know what is going on. I don't know what happened overnight, but it's just been a very odd offseason all the way around.
Yeah, it has been an odd offseason. Sam Shady joining us here on the program as he does every Friday. It's a football Friday. That means Sam's got to be here. Thank you, Sam, very much. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to next week.
Look forward to next week. Coming up after the break is Ben Sutterth, and then we'll make some picks after this.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Thursday nights are wrestling night on CSTV. Tune in every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific to see all the amazing next-level pro wrestling stars on Thursday Night Throwdown on CSTVNow.com and the CSTV app on your Roku device.
PK Tire Pros, your one-stop on-the-spot auto service headquarters for a complete line of quality tires and auto services. For years, we have provided the Stockton, California area with the latest products and unprecedented services for everything we sell. And for years, our customers have been coming back. Take a look around. If you don't find what you need, visit us in Stockton, California. From the latest and best in tire technology to the services required to keep your vehicle looking good and running great, PK Tire Pros can get you out on the road quickly and at an affordable price. Stop by soon to see why so many people consider PK Tire Pros to be the one-stop shop for all of their tire needs. At PK Tire Pros, our friendly and knowledgeable staff, quick and dependable service professionals, and affordable prices all come together to make driving out on a new set of tires easy. On top of that, we never tire of tires. Stop by and see us, and you'll be glad you did.
Papi J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying. But this is also an option.
Wize El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Papi J and Wize El Jefe. Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.
Take this job so serious.
I know this is going to come back to haunt me, but I take Carson Wentz over Zach Wilson.
Oh no! And Dante walks off.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Yes, it's Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
Yes, that actually was said, and I couldn't believe it. That actually was said.
Yeah, I don't believe it either.
I don't either.
Cool.
This is coming from Cool McCain, and this has been Sutter. In a league where any quarterback is better than Zach Wilson, the Cowboys have to contend with Dak Prescott. Here is Ben Sutterth, and he joins me right now. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
It's football. It's Friday. I'm ready to go.
I hear you. I'm right there with you. Football's back.
It is. And I talked about this with Sam earlier in the program. How about those Lions stunning the Chiefs last night?
Yeah, I was shocked. But I think that just tells, as it goes to say, that Dan Campbell is a hell of a coach, and they definitely have some weapons on that team. So Lions won't be a pushover this year.
Dan Campbell is indeed for real, and I think you got the clue when they went for it at their own 17-yard line on a 4th and 2, picked up 3, and then later turned it into a touchdown.
Right. Yeah, and he's got guts, and he knew you're gonna have to score against the Chiefs, and you're gonna have to, get after Mahomes and make defensive plays, and they did that, and they had a pick six.
And they harassed Patrick Mahomes all night. I'll bring a question to you that I brought to quite a few other people this morning before we came on the air. Why is Patrick Mahomes your leading rusher?
Yeah, should never be your leading rusher, unless you don't have a running back. But they have Edwards-Helaire, they have Pacheco. So I don't know what happened, but I think again that goes to the Lions defense and how they were just able to really defend the Chiefs probably better than most teams have or had, I should say. So big shout out again to the Lions.
Yeah, big shout out to the Lions indeed. What kind of trouble does this signal for the Chiefs, considering they brought back Matt Nagy as their offensive coordinator as soon as Bieniemy departed for the Redskins?
Yeah, I think this was kind of a rough opening game for them. I think the Chiefs will obviously bounce back. Mahomes, Reed, they'll do what they need to do. But I think there might have been some mix-ups. Also, not having Travis Kelce affected them. There was a couple passes downfield that their tight end wasn't able to make, even though he did make some good plays. So I think I don't think it's anything to worry about too much, but I do think obviously it's going to be different when you don't have Bieniemy and the relationship that he had with Mahomes.
How big was the loss of Travis Kelce last night for the Chiefs?
I think it was big. I mean, he is their leading receiver. I mean, yeah, you do have you got Tony, which Tony is good, but that is that, quote unquote security blanket for Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just see there were some passes that Kelce would have caught, or Kelce would have been, more in tune with what Mahomes was doing. But also they mentioned on the broadcast that Kelce is able to read defenses just as well as Mahomes. So, they lost not only a pass catching tight end, but more so a leader and a support, on the offense. So getting him back, obviously is going to be a great deal. It's the first game of the season, so I don't think they were too overly trying to push him, but you could definitely tell his impact was lost.
Speaking of impact, Nick Bosa has signed for the 49ers for the next 5 years. You talk about somebody wreaking havoc on offenses.
Yeah, and he's going to be all over the field like he always is. Just like you said, causing havoc. I think he is obviously the top pass rusher in the league right now, and nobody's really touching him. So, yeah, he deserves the contract. I do think that is leading into what Parsons is going to get because, his contract is going to be coming up. Cowboys are going to pay him whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
But that I think was another story that came in as soon as Bosa signed that deal.
Yeah, it is. And with Bosa setting the mark, especially for defensive pass rushers, but you also have to take in mind Bosa is also the reigning defensive player of the year. And I don't think that's the only one that he's going to win. And with the restructuring that the 49ers did of Trent Williams and George Kittle, they could take a run at another major piece. We don't know which piece is out there, but they've cleared up about $23 million in cap space. They could take a run at another big piece out there to help get them over the top.
Yeah, I agree. That's one thing about the 49ers. They are smart. John Lynch, I love the guy. I wish he was the Cowboys GM because he is always looking to make moves, and he'll make a sneaky move. So I would not be surprised if they'd be looking to get another piece. And the team's already above good, so they're already a great team, I would say.
Yeah.
Especially with how they just find defensive players. You may not know who they are, and then they're the star of the defense. So, yeah, they definitely got an opportunity again this year to make some noise, and they'll definitely make a move that'll surprise some people.
Yeah, they're going to make a move. We just don't know what that move is. And like you said, John Lynch is always creeping around trying to make his team better. Speaking of making their team better, you cannot deny that the New York Football Giants, because of what they did last year, have gotten better, and they're ready to harass some people in the NFC East.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. I think obviously having a healthy Saquon is great. That defense and what Martindale is going to be able to do, they're going to be wrecking havoc. So, yeah, this division is always, I don't care what anybody says, is always up for grabs. I mean, Eagles, I think, are the leader in the clubhouse, but this division is always up for grabs because you just don't know what happens from year to year. So, I mean, come Sunday night, this is not going to be a pushover on any side. They always play each other tough. Yes, Dak hasn't lost to the Giants. I think he's 10-0 or something to that degree. So it's gonna be a rough game though, because the Giants are gonna play better than what they've done, in the past. And they ended last year good. People forget that too.
Yeah, and they also ended with a win over Minnesota in the postseason.
Right.
Meanwhile, we know what happened to the Cowboys at the tail end of their season. How do you think they have gotten better coming into this year, knowing they have to go to the Meadowlands to face the Giants to start the season?
Yeah. I mean, obviously getting Gilmore is great. Hopefully he can stay healthy. And also mentor Trayvon, Deron Bland, all the young corners. Brandon Cooks, I think, is great. Again, as long as he's able to stay healthy, he'll be a great addition. Parsons is going to be Parsons. The defense has improved. I think also looking at Gallup going into this year after the injury. But at the end of the day, it is all going to depend on Dak, and is he able to make those tough decisions when the game is tough, in which he does it during the regular season. So I think they made necessary improvements. Keeping Dan Quinn, I think, was probably the biggest improvement that they made, because Dan Quinn is a defensive mind that he is. So I think they'll be ready coming in Sunday. I do think the offense may look a tad bit different, and we already know who's calling the plays, so we'll see how that works out.
And you went where I was going. Kellen Moore out. Mike McCarthy has the headset on, and he's calling the plays. We know what questions we have there. My biggest question for the Cowboys is who's going to tote the rock?
Yeah, it's going to be Pollard. It's going to be a heavy dose of Pollard. They're going to mix some Deuce Vaughn in there. He's the third string, and then they're going to be giving probably half of the touches, or half or so, to the backup, Rico Dowell, which they really love him, from what I've been hearing. It's just that he hadn't been able to stay healthy. So it's going to be a three-headed monster, which, that's what it needs to be. At this point in time in the NFL, you can't just have one guy. The years of one guy doing all the carries is over.
Yeah,
and you can see why the money is where it is now for running back. So it's going to be a three-headed monster. Pollard leading the league, though.
How big is Deuce Vaughn going to be for the Cowboys this year out of Kansas State?
I think he's going to be great, and I think there's already been comparisons. I'm going to draw the comparison: a Darren Sproles type. He's about that size. He is shifty. He's got the speed, and they're going to use him, I think, in different plays. I don't think he's necessarily probably the best run through the tackles type of running back, but he'll be able to get some outside plays if he gets to the outside. And like I said, very shifty. So I love him being on the team. I don't think the Cowboys have really had somebody like this in a while. And this is going to add another variation to that offense that it definitely needs, because we have been predictable for probably the past 10 years. So we definitely need to shake it up.
So look at a couple of bonus games here, and we're going to start with the 1 o'clock game, and we're going to start in Cleveland, the Battle of Ohio, Bengals and Browns. Bengals are only laying 2 points at Cleveland. What is wrong with this picture? Did I miss something?
Yeah, I don't get that at all. I don't get that at all.
They're only favored by 2 in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I'll repeat the question. What is wrong with this picture?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it at all. I still don't think the Browns are there. And obviously what the Bengals have been able to do it speaks for itself. I mean, we don't have to keep saying, oh, the Bengals that good. They are that good.
Yeah.
They've done it back-to-back years.
Thank
and
you.
The Browns have not put together a quality season in years. So if Watson really is able to put it together, and he's going to have to do it with the supporting cast he has. Which
yeah, he is. And that's a patchwork offensive line they have in front of him.
Yeah.
Patchwork offensive line.
Yeah, I don't know if they have the best built team, and it's time is going to tell with them, because I don't know. I don't see them being a winner in this opening game.
I don't see that. I don't see that either. Meanwhile, you got the Redskins laying 7 at home against the Arizona Cardinals. Why is that not in double digits, considering the fact that Kyler Murray will not start this game? I mean, I don't think he's going to play for, 7 weeks?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Without Mighty Mouse, this game's gonna be over.
This game will be over at halftime.
Yeah.
And looking at some of the late games, the Dolphins and the San Diego Chargers, and yes, I said San Diego Chargers. You got the Chargers favored by a field goal at home against Tagovailoa in Miami. I'll pose a question that I posed earlier. Why is Tagovailoa still playing after 3 concussions in 14 games?
Yeah, that is a great question, and I think they're going to keep pushing him out there. Obviously, they because they paid him a certain amount of money. He's been going through. I think we've all heard the story. He's been going through jujitsu and how to fall or whatever he's been doing. I don't know if that's. I mean, we'll see if that actually makes a difference. But if he has multiple concussions again this year, I don't know how anybody, his family, the coaching staff, his wife, if he's married, I don't know how anybody can say keep doing this, because we all know what the end game looks like. Those that have dealt with concussions and that have over and over and over again, the end game does not look well. So I mean, I think this season to me is kind of a make or break for Tua in a bunch of ways. But I do like this matchup though, with Herbert and Tua going back and forth. I think the Dolphins have a pretty stacked team. I underestimated their coach, but he's a young mind that has figured out how to work at every opportunity he's had. So, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins.
Yeah, I want to look at Monday night's game, the Bills and the Jets. Why am I looking at this game? And of course, all our spreads are brought to you by BetUS.com. Why are the Jets getting 2.5 at home?
And
you know the 2 exact reasons I'm asking that question.
Oh yeah, I know. The only fact is that Aaron Rodgers is there. That is the only reason at all.
The only reason I can think of.
That's the only reason. The Bills are the better team on paper. So yeah, they're just trying their best to prop up Aaron Rodgers, who has not played a game with the Jets.
Right. He hasn't played a game. He hasn't played a game with the Jets. The preseason we know doesn't count. Now it's live on Monday on Monday night. And here's another questionable spread I'm looking at. Packers and Bears. The Bears are laying a point at home against the team they have not beaten in 8 years.
Yeah. And Jordan Love has got a lot to prove. And there's a lot riding on that. And obviously, if you look at as of right now, Justin Fields is the better quarterback.
Yep.
I don't see the Bears should have no problem at all beating them. Throughout the season, I think the Packers can definitely, show some improvement. But I don't know. Right out the gate, I don't see them winning.
I don't see them winning either. But here's my problem with the Bears, and I will say this as often as I can. Where is the running game going to come from aside of Justin Fields?
Well, you said it. It's Justin Fields. He's the running game, the passing game. He's everything. Now, you can't do that forever. I mean, they gotta figure out a way to take some pressure off of him, so he's not having to do everything. Because we know again that scenario does not pan out well in the NFL.
No, it does not. It does not. It's a football Friday. Ben Sutter is with us. I want to look at one more game. The Ravens are laying 9.5 at home against CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans. I mean, I love you, DeMeco Ryans, but how unfair is it that you have to go on the road to face Lamar Jackson and that offense?
Yeah, that the first game of the season. Yeah, I would be pissed if I was him too. And this is going to be big. I think this is going to be big for CJ. Obviously, you're playing a tough defense, but being drafted where you are, I'm really interested to see how he's going to battle. I don't think they're going to win, obviously, but I would love to see him, make some strides and put some highlights on the board, because I think it's going to be a big game for his confidence, right out the gate. But to your point, DeMeco Ryans has been doing this for a while, what he did with the 49ers. So he's not a slouch defensively. I think Stroud, though, is going to have some issues because, that defense is going to come at him all full force.
And it seems like they're trying to handcuff DeMeco Ryans already by not blessing him with, an offensive coordinator.
Yeah. The Texans are infamous for not putting their coaches in the best position. So hopefully he's got a vocal. He's got the ear of the ownership, and they can really help him.
One more we'll look at before we break, and that is the Buccaneers going to Minnesota and taking on Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins, and they're laying 5.5 at US Bank, which means Paul Allen's going nuts.
Oh yeah.
I don't expect this to be close, but they open with Tampa Bay post Tom Brady. We don't even know who the starting quarterback's going to be in Tampa yet.
No, we don't.
And that should scare you, right? If you're Tampa Bay, that should scare you right there when you don't know who your quarterback's going to be going into week 1 of the regular season.
Yeah. This is not going to be a good year for the Bucs. I'll go ahead and say that right now, right out the gate. And they're definitely going to lose this game. 2 Chainz is going to do his thing. So I think it'll be a convincing game, for Minnesota.
Oh man, I think so. I think so too. That's Ben Sutter joining us here on the program as he does every Friday, looking at some games and looking ahead to the Cowboys and the Giants on Sunday Night Football. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate you.
All right, no problem. Appreciate you. Have a good one.
He said 2 Chainz Cousins. Back after this.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids from the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
The following is a public service announcement from Wize El Jefe.
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wize El Jefe.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Cause we take this job so serious.
Y'all know what? Hey, cool. You know how much I hate this out with a passion.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Yes, it's Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
11:07, and yes, Germany beat the U.S. in the FIBA World Cup. 113 to 111. Fundamental basketball lives on.
See, I told y'all, if Kevin Durant was on the team and Russell Westbrook was on the team and LeBron James was on the team and Kyrie Irving was on the team, this wouldn't happen.
Yes, it would.
Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be hearing this for the next 10 months.
Oh, dear Lord. I'm so happy the USA lost. Because from the 30-second highlight I saw, there's no fundamentals involved. None. I love you. Go ahead.
And that's exactly why I have an issue with how the game is played now. It's like athleticism is celebrated over fundamentals, and the game is best executed when a team is fundamentally sound.
Yeah, just like the Houston Astros. Oops.
Yeah.
Do you know there were actually some people that actually picked the Rangers to win that series?
Good.
Because they were at home.
Good. I hope they feel horrible.
And the Astros get to tune up San Diego. In the juice box.
I love it. I love it.
So it's September, and I said by September the Astros will be in first place. Well, it's September, and where are the Astros?
They are on top of the AL West.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is not to say that Seattle are a bunch of punks, because the Mariners are young, hungry ball club. I love what they've done.
And you've heard what I said about them from last year when they met up against the Astros in the ALDS. It was not, even though, yes, it goes down as a sweep, the Astros struggled to win at least 2 of those 3 games. So it was not handed to the Astros.
The first one and the last one.
Yeah,
they struggled.
The last one. Yeah. And in the third one, it went to 18 innings. So
before Jeremy Pena won the game.
Yeah. So the Mariners are no punks, and I do not take them at all. In fact, this was the team I said out of the West. I was like, the team's gonna give the Astros the most troubles, not the Rangers, the Mariners.
It's the Mariners, and they have 3 coming up at the end of the month.
Yep.
That are going to be absolutely fantastic at Safeco Field. Speaking of picks, let's make some right now. All of our spreads are brought to you by BetUS.com, and we start in Atlanta. Falcons getting 3.5, 1 o'clock game against the Carolina Panthers. What say you, sir?
Oh, I say that the Panthers are going to do a wonderful job losing. I give the Falcons the edge.
Same here. Now, your Texans getting 9.5 in Baltimore. Is it going to be that bad or worse?
Man, I really feel that the Texans are going to go up to Baltimore. They're going to give a wonderful effort. That they're going to show the rest of the world that the Texans have arrived. That the old Texans have gone, the new Texans are here, and then the opening kickoff happens. Ravens.
Battle of Ohio in Cleveland, and how much you want to bet that the biggest bets will be if they have Brown and the Elf at center field instead of the new logo that they have?
Well, unfortunately, unfortunately, people will be losing that bet because Brown and the Elf will be making his triumphant return on to midfield for the second consecutive year.
And Joe Burrow just got paid. Give me the Bengals, and I'm laying the points.
Yeah, Bengals.
Jaguars and Colts. Jaguars laying 5 in Indianapolis, Indiana. What say you, sir?
Man, I'm seeing Jonathan Taylor running up the middle on the Jaguars, just destroying them. Oh, no. Oh, this is 2023. Oh, my bad. Yeah, Jaguars.
Same here. And this is against my wife's team. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers with whomever the hell they go with that quarterback facing Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins in Minnesota. If Minnesota could win this game by a -2 points, they would, but they're laying 5.5 at US Bank Stadium, which, as you heard me talk to Ben, makes Paul Allen go completely nuts. Your thoughts on this one?
So we have Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins hosting Baker's dozen, and when I say Baker's dozen with him, that means 12 interceptions. Mayfield, Vikings.
Then you have a couple of also-rans, the Titans and the New Orleans Saints. Exactly. We'll move on.
Oh, wow.
We'll move on.
Yeah, I actually do pick the Saints, but yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a snooze fest. Speaking of snooze fest, the Redskins getting 7 at home against Arizona. Why isn't it more than 7?
Well, it's because people don't have faith in the slur. And I understand. I understand why they don't have faith in the slur. They don't have faith in them because Sam Howell will be making his first ever NFL opening game start.
You don't put the Southern twang on it.
Sam Howell. Yeah, Sam Howell will be making his first opening day start. And that's the reason why I think a lot of people have issues with the Commanders winning by more than a touchdown. That and the defense is good. Chase Young. I mean, will he stay healthy? Last 2 years, the answer's been no. So you have those issues, but I mean, heck, you can have a high school. The Commanders can have high school players take the field against the Cardinals and just wax them.
And that's what's going to happen here. 49ers and Steelers, even though Bosa's only been in camp for a couple of days, I got the 49ers. And they're laying 2.5 points in Pittsburgh. Although that's a trap waiting to happen because the Niners have to come east for a 1 o'clock kickoff. It's Kenny Pickett. Give me the 49ers and I'm laying the points.
How about the east again? Because they're going east here. A lot of people are it's now been sexy to say, well, don't sleep on the Steelers. I mean, Kenny Pickett, he's now in his second season, and George Pickett is a wonderful wide receiver. Yeah. And the defense is pretty good, led by T.J. Watt and Minka Fitzpatrick. I understand that, and they do have great pieces. Yes. But let me be completely blunt. And even though I love Najee Harris,
yes,
I am not a fan of the Steelers' offensive line. Conversely, you have a team in the 49ers that plays the style the Steelers play, only more physical. And to me, that's the difference. 49ers.
Big difference. To the 4 o'clock, to the late games, we start in Chicago. Packers and Bears at Soldier Field. And I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud, but according to betus.com, the Bears are laying a point at home.
Yes, the Bears are favored.
The Bears are favored at home against Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll abstain because I can make an argument for either team.
Stop the cap.
I was waiting for you to push that button.
Let's see, what my partner is not saying is you have one team that has a guy who's making his opening day NFL debut. He started before, but he has not started on opening day. And he's replacing a legend who replaced a legend. Although I really do wish.
I question the legend part.
The ayahuasca sipping, toe picking, darkness retreat having space cadet would just pick his toes and retire. Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm talking about him. But on the other end, you have Justin Fields, DJ Moore, and 5 300-pound mannequins. Now,
you mean to tell me that there are Bear fans that still believe in DJ Moore?
You mean to tell me that you didn't see the hype that a preseason game brought you when people were saying, "Oh wow, Justin Fields is awesome and DJ Moore is a stud"? You didn't hear that last month?
In a void? No.
That's too bad. Then you must be deaf. Aaron Jones is a difference.
It's so
in this
deaf
one.
it was coming out of my eyes.
Yeah, I understand. Aaron Jones to me is a difference in this matchup, so I say Packers in this one.
Mm-hmm. I'll go the same way because when you have Justin Fields and Justin Fields only, what can you do?
Right.
Then you have Russell Wilson, Sean Payton, and the Denver Broncos taking on Jimmy Garoppolo and the Los Angeles Raiders. Why do I not mention the coach for the Los Angeles Raiders? Because it's Josh McDaniels, and he's going to find a way to screw it up. And yes, I correctly said Los Angeles Raiders.
Well, even those who know the origin of the team would say, well, we don't think they belong in Los Angeles either. We think we believe they belong in Oakland. But I digress.
I digress too.
The Raiders are supposed to be something. But you have Chandler Jones talking ill about the team. You have Josh Jacobs who was expecting a long-term deal, but he only got a 1-year deal. So I know he feels salty himself.
Mm-hmm.
You have a team that's trying to rebound from Derek Carr, and they have Jimmy Garoppolo at QB. And then on the other end, you have in the Broncos a QB that the whole team was disliking last year because they thought he was too much of a prima donna.
Yep.
And let me stand up and applaud Sean Payton for in public calling Russell Wilson out on that and say, look, you're not here to kiss babies, you're here to win games. I love that. So to me, I think Wilson is going to take that as an affront. That's going to spur him. That's going to give him a performance that he's never had in Denver, and he hasn't had in quite some time. The Broncos over the Raiders.
Yeah. Just out of default, I'm picking the Broncos because your other coach is Josh McDaniels.
And there it is too. I mean, the coaching disparity is ridiculous in this one. I mean, Sean Payton, wonderful coach and a Super Bowl champion as a head coach, versus a guy who is a Super Bowl champion but as a coordinator.
As a coordinator.
And hasn't done jack as a head coach.
And won't ever. 425. The Miami Dolphins and the San Diego Chargers when this once upon a time meant Marino versus Fouts. Chargers getting 3 or laying 3 at home. So you have one headache in Tua Tagovailoa and a bigger headache in Brandon Staley.
Well,
let's quantify the headache, shall we? With Tua, it's not the fact that he is a headache. It's the fact that all of South Beach, and correct me if I'm wrong, A Pistol, it's the fact that everybody in South Beach is praying that Tua Tagovailoa doesn't get a headache. True.
Very true.
I mean, people are lauding the fact that you got speed on both sides of with wide receivers of Jalen Waddle on one side and Tyreek Hill on the other, and that Tua, he has the arm to throw it, and when healthy, he actually is pretty good and pretty solid. And defensively, they're pretty stout, as led by Xavier Howard. But the two issues with the Dolphins is simple: running game and the stability of Tua. And then with the Chargers, everything is great except, to me, the running game and the head coach. So with that being said, since it's a regular season game, I'll pick the Chargers.
Same. Playoff game, forget it. Rams and Seahawks. Seahawks laying 5 at home. Should be more. Going with the Seahawks.
Oh man, that wonderful team that's led by Aaron Donald. I mean, they are a force to be reckoned with. I mean, when they step on the field, you have to account for number 99, and others will come to simply help out his cause. And then on the other side, you have Matthew Stafford throwing that rock every which way but loose. And then you have Cooper Kupp, who's going to catch under the. Oh no, Cooper Kupp won't be playing.
No.
So you have Jalen Ramsey, who's going to be in the secondary. Oh no, he's for the Dolphins. Oh no, he's out. Seahawks should simply mollywop them.
Then you got this one. Sunday Night Football. Giants +3 against Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. And I'm going with the Giants. Give me the Giants and give me the points. I'm going with the Giants. For the simplest of reasons, I want them to mollywop the Cowboys.
Okay, well, here's the messed up part. The Cowboys are favored in this game. So,
Cowboys are favored by 3.
That, to me, should be motivation for the Giants right there. They're coming to our home turf and they're favored, which I somewhat understand because the Giants, for some reason, had some issues against the Cowboys. And for whatever other reason, Dak Prescott plays his best against the Giants more than any other team in the NFL. I don't know what it is with those blue jerseys, but for some reason, those blue Giants jerseys make Dak Prescott execute better than he ever has in his life.
I don't get it either. I don't get it either.
However, the issue I have is quite simple. The Cowboys, are they going to utilize Pollard and Deuce Vaughn? Are they actually going to run the ball? Are they actually going to be about balance? Or are they going to do what they always do and have Dak Prescott throw 40 times a game? I actually choose for the latter. Since Dak Prescott's going to throw for 40 times in this game, the Giants should win this one, and they will.
And last but not least, Monday Night Football, Bills and Jets. Bills laying 2.5 in the Meadowlands. Should be more. Bills. Going with the Bills.
The Jets have the better defense. They do. They have the better defense. And unfortunately, it's by default because Von Miller won't be playing. But still, the Jets have the better defense. The Jets have the more pedigreed quarterback. I don't think they have the better one, but they have the more pedigreed quarterback. I'm not the biggest fan of the Jets' offensive line,
which is going to be their downfall.
And I don't think they're going to run Delvin Cook as much as they need. So, to me, because I think they're going to rely too much on Rodgers.
Of course,
this isn't the time for them to rely so much on him. I'm going with the Bills. I think they will cover on the road in the Meadowlands.
I think they will too. That's our picks presented by BetUS.com. I have to step away for a bit, and so do we. Back in a minute.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
The thing is, until you can erase 3 Februaries, shut up. Bang! Quality over quantity. LeBron has beaten some of the best competition in NBA history. He's the GOAT emoji. I will not cuss. I will not cuss. I will not swear. I will not swear.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
Your afternoons just got better with the Brian Snow Show. Weekdays, 4 p.m. Eastern. Come on aboard and enjoy the ride, folks.
Thursday nights are wrestling night on CSTV. Tune in every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific to see all the amazing next level pro wrestling stars on Thursday Night Throwdown on CSTVNow.com and the CSTV app on your Roku device.
PK Tire Pros, your one-stop on-the-spot auto service headquarters for a complete line of quality tires and auto services. For years, we have provided the Stockton, California area with the latest products and unprecedented services for everything we sell. And for years, our customers have been coming back. Take a look around. If you don't find what you need, visit us in Stockton, California. From the latest and best in tire technology to the services required to keep your vehicle looking good and running great, PK Tire Pros can get you out on the road quickly and at an affordable price. Stop by soon to see why so many people consider PK Tire Pros to be the one-stop shop for all of their tire needs. At PK Tire Pros, our friendly and knowledgeable staff, quick and dependable service professionals, and affordable prices all come together to make driving out on a new set of tires easy. On top of that, we never tire of tires. Stop by and see us, and you'll be glad you did.
We take this job so serious.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
That's mentality. Find that on the Columbia Media Incorporated and the Real Wize TV YouTube channels, or you can also catch it on replay every Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central on the BS3 Network via Roku TV. Back at it. Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. I am Cole Johnson. The other has stepped away for a sec. Hopefully Wize will return as well, and hopefully at the bottom of the hour we will get started with all the festivities known as Enter the Boom Shakalaka. But before then, let's discuss the man who has been broken off a good chunk of change, shall we? So the Bengals decided to pony up and give Joe Burrow the highest paid contract in the NFL today. The Bengals signed the Bengals signal caller to a 5-year, $275 million extension. $221 million of that is guaranteed. And now the Bengals played the long game correct. They waited to see what the quarterback market would be, and then they struck. So they saw what the Chargers paid Herbert.
Then they saw the Ravens pay what they did Lamar Jackson. And the Bengals said, okay, Joe, we believe you are better than all of these. Here you go. So the Bengals picked up Burrow's fifth-year option for next season. But the contract that Burrow signed, it solidifies that for many years to come, number 9 is going to be the signal caller for the Bengals. And I'm happy for Joe. I'm happy for Cincy because they haven't really found a home for, or I should say, a quarterback hasn't really called Cincinnati home and was good since. Could you really say Carson? Could you really say Carson? No, I wouldn't say Drew Carson. I mean, he was okay. I mean, he was able to win. He was able to win regular season games. He just couldn't win playoff games for whatever reason. So I'd probably say the first guy who was of any good for the Bengals, they have finally found this guy since the last quarterback that took the Bengals to the Super Bowl, and that would be Boomer Esiason. And I would dare say Burrow, I think, is a better quarterback in terms of skill set than Esiason. And I really believe this might not be the last time we see Burrow take the Bengals to the Super Bowl. So this is his 4th year, and in 3 years, he already holds the Bengals single-season franchise records for the most passing yards in the season, and he did that in 2021 with 4,611. With touchdown passes, he did that last year with 35. Pass attempts, he also did that last year with 606. And also last year, he threw 414 completions. All of that are single-season records for the Bengals. Now, the 26-year-old also holds for a career 11,000 passing yards, almost 12,000, 82 touchdowns, 31 picks, with a career passer rating of 100.4. So he basically took the rough first year he had, which ended in injury, and he has parlayed that into a successful campaign thus far, with the second year leading the team to the Super Bowl, and the third year, which was last year, leading the team to being on the doorstep of it, but falling short. Oh well. But congratulations to Joe Burrow. If people are going to say, well, he is not deserving of the money, bump that. If the owner is willing to throw that type of money and slide that type of Brinks truck in the direction of a player, all we can do is celebrate it. And that's what I'm going to do here. So, Joe, celebrate it like all the stogies you need because you earned every single dollar, my friend. Congratulations, Joe Burrow. Now, hopefully you can lead your team to greater success than you had in the last couple of years. And speaking of leading things to success or leading places to success, it is Friday. Oh, yes, it's the bottom of the hour, bottom of the second hour on Friday. You know what time it is.
And now, the transporter to Hades, the reformer of hooker whores, and the bronze god, the one, the only, the legendary Chris Bay.
And here he is, the man, the legend. He is not a myth. He is right before your very eyes, the broadcasting legend himself, Chris Bass. How you doing, my man?
I'm great. Thank you for having me as always. Also, shout out to the Invisible Rain Man. Also, shout out, of course, to the Mad Scientist. And, of course, to Wize El Jefe, Wize All. And for everybody out there in the comment section, all boys and girls, and a hearty boom shakalaka to you.
And a hearty boom shakalaka to you, sir. All right. What is on your mind, sir? What has plagued the Bass Man?
Oh, first of all, I was just wondering if everybody's all right with Brian and Wize El Jefe. Are they okay?
Yeah, both are fine. I don't know where Wize went. Brian said he had to step away for a sec, but
Okay.
yeah, everything to me as if I know is fine. So yeah,
Okay, just check on my brothers. That's all. You know what I'm saying?
no problem. No problem.
Everybody's copacetic, so that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. First of all, a lot of the stories I realized I was contemplating during the week has been mostly for ESPN. So first and foremost, shout out to the one and only Chris Mortensen for going to retirement and just giving a great body of work at the network. He has stage 4 throat cancer and mentioned about he's going to focus on his health and his faith. And for someone like myself who watched ESPN for years and watched the great Mr. Mortensen, straightforward, straight no chaser, gave it to you like it was, paved the way for Adam Schefter. And so even before Schefter was on the scene. And so you have to thank people like Mr. Mortensen, whose style of reporting may be considered old school, but that was the way it was reported. And that's the way you did it. And so to appreciate that, and for him to be well respected, great sources, it wasn't like he was just saying things to be saying it. You could back it up when he said it. It was guaranteed money. And so you hate to see people like that go away, but everybody has a window and a time for when they do their thing in greatness. And Mr. Mortensen knows different. I mentioned that he mentioned about his faith, which is a great thing. I believe, like anything else, sometimes we have to go outside ourselves and find some way to get grounded, to give us reinforcements in our lives when it comes to anything. And him having stage 4 cancer, dealing with his own ailments, there's nothing wrong with getting power from a higher power. So I'm happy for him to do his thing, and I hope Mr. Mortensen will come back and grace the airwaves of ESPN just to see and let us know that he's doing okay. So thank you, Mr. Mortensen, for everything you've done.
Yeah, the guy that everyone called Mort at ESPN. Yeah, I loved how he was, and I'm gonna miss that type of reporting too.
Yes,
I mean others try to do it in that style, but yeah, now you don't really see it as much anymore. But yeah, he's going to be thoroughly missed, and I'm glad he's going to take care of himself. And yes, I hope that he still is in remission with the throat cancer he did get diagnosed with earlier in his career. Switching gears. So I know that you have paid attention to one Mr. Deion Sanders. And this past weekend, we saw his team, the Colorado Buffaloes. They traveled to Fort Worth. They played TCU, and they won 45-42. The team was an underdog by 20 points, and they walked away with a field goal victory. However, not everyone was celebrating the fact that he and his team put a W on the board against a team that was a national championship finalist the year before. Why do you believe that people are stubborn to not want to give Coach Prime, as they say, his flowers in turning a program around so quickly and in such a short amount of time?
It's simple to me, Cole, because they just don't want to give credit when credit is due. And they're player hate, not low-key hating, high-key hating.
High.
They're not low. They're definitely walking the ground. Player hating, literally, on Coach Prime. He's had that done to him the majority, if not all, of his career. Again, this was a two-sport athlete in his quote-unquote prime, playing football and playing basketball. Not basketball, playing football and baseball. I mean, him and Bo Jackson were at one point the only two that were really doing it in their timeline. So I think people are jealous off the bat because they can't be them. And they would rather say things or do things to go against the person just on GP because they really want to be them. I'm taking the psychological point of view in the whole thing because that to me would make more sense. Because it seems to me that regardless of his bravado, and going back to Prime, he gets the job done. Look at Jackson State.
Right.
And a lot of people saying, well, you should love Jackson State. Like anything else, if opportunity presents itself, you have to weigh the pros and the cons and see what's best for you and your family, and then you just go from there. you look at the environment he's brought over to Colorado, with a complete 180. His son, who's the quarterback, works out with Tom Brady. So you can't get more high profile than that. So if his son leaves going to the pros, look who his quote unquote coach is. His QB coach. You got one of the you have the GOAT of all time. If you're Deion Sanders' son. And I think what happens is that to some degree, depending on the college university, they don't want to build, depending on who they are. They want instantaneous success. They want instant W's. They want instant eyeball on the screen. They want instant everything. So when you don't deliver, your ass will be on the chopping block. So you got to hit the ground running. No more the days of, depending on the university itself, culture and building. We see what is happening over the years with now athletes who are able to do the NIL thing and get their own business. I say, cool, get all the bag you get. But at the same time, don't forget what brought you to the dance. Never forget the reason why you're there. It goes back to what Sean Payton said about his quarterback in Denver. Look, don't make it about you. This is not a business. You having 3 or 4 parking spaces is not that serious. Mr. Wilson, you have to understand what's at stake here. Ain't gonna get lost and caught up. There was an old song back in the day. You get lost and turned out if you're not careful. So don't allow yourself to get lost and turned out. And once again, I hate to use it again, being a hooker whore, being put on the stroll and going out there and selling your ass for money.
Here we go with the hooker whore term again.
Absolutely.
And it applies in this case. It absolutely applies in this case. And you can also apply that to the transfer portal with as many students that are jumping to and through the transfer portal. There's your hooker whore portal. There's your hooker whore set street stroll right there, right through the transfer portal.
And if it works out for you, that's great. And I've been saying for years that pay these student athletes, pay them, because not everybody's going to go to the pros. So if you're able to make the money while you can, market yourself, get you an agent, not do the sports drinks and things like that, get the bag while you can, because anything can happen. You may not go to the next level. You may not be able to play anymore. I hate to put it on people, but that could be floating out there. So yes, remember to do you, but again, do not forget while you're there, the reason why you're there is to contribute to a team and a university and to make wins happen.
Yeah.
So what if the NIL deals were in place for, say, I'll go like a young Deion Sanders at Florida State, or earlier Bo Jackson at Auburn, quarterbacks like that. What do you think the landscape would be if the NIL deals were available then, like in the 80s?
Well, you wouldn't have the NC2A lying to us saying that we don't pay our athletes. It's all about education and books, and everything be out in the open. So at least everything out in the open, it's like, okay, you're an honest hoe. I had to go back. I'm sorry, the prostitution references. I'm sorry, but you're an honest person, and at least we can see what you're doing. At least we can see that you're not lying to us. We want these kids to make money, but go ahead.
And we wouldn't have the SMU situation.
No, you would not.
Where you had to wait till a documentary came out to know something that we've all known for years, that Craig James and Eric Dickerson and everybody they played at SMU were getting paid anyway. They were getting paid anyway. I mean, how else do you score the games that you scored at Texas, in Texas Stadium? All right, because SMU had a home field on their campus, but they played all their prime time. They played most of their games at Texas Stadium. And they were bringing in 70,000 people to play. Because SMU was independent at the time. SMU was in Indy at the time, but yet they were playing Southwest Conference schools, Baylor, Houston, Texas, Arkansas. They were playing all those home games at Texas Stadium, and they were making money hands over fist.
Well, I mean, in the 80s, they were officially in the Southwest Conference, but
yeah. Oh, they were in the SW. Okay,
yeah.
They were in the Southwest Conference. But just the home games alone,
set them up for success for years down the road. And the Pony Excess, which was the title of the ESPN 30 for 30, the Pony Excess took advantage of the Pony Express and brought in a boatload of money.
She had
it is a first and foremost a business. Yeah, that's right. You're good. You have a beautiful singing voice. It is first and foremost a business, as we all know, and as you get indoctrinated into it, this is what it's about. It is about making money. So once you get that out the bat, and then focus on other things. So, for example, you watch certain movies, they'll tell you. Blue Chips was a perfect example with basketball and college basketball and getting cars and money and homes, stuff like that. Been going on for years. Even to the point of The Last Boy Scout came out in the 90s with Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans. What was it they were talking about? Legalized sports betting.
Gambling.
Then, so I think Hollywood has all the information just put out there just to filter and see who's going to bite on the whole thing. And then the future happens. Like, for example, we didn't see any black president on TV or on in the movies. Hollywood all of a sudden got Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman was everybody's black president. All of a sudden we have a black president. So that's just my conspiracy mind going like that. So please forgive me, but it is. I don't have a tinfoil hat, so I don't do things like that. But you look at the parallel of what we see in Hollywood, we see before about the sports movies, for example. Yeah, because it's based on fact. It's based on fact. So going back to your point, Rain Man, yes, had it been out in the 80s and everybody was out in the open, everybody be cool. You take care of your side of business, and we'll take our side, and never the twain shall meet. But man, I don't know. I think what happens is that once you know the game and you're involved, where is your role within said game? Yeah. Where is your piece? Where do you fit at? Where do you contribute at? Make a contribution and things like that, because you have to know the lay of the land. And a lot of people got screwed because they didn't know the lay of the land, or the lay of the land was not even told to them. The game was not brought to them. They kept in the dark on purpose.
I'll give you a perfect example of a national championship game that brought in a boatload of money and a boatload of people. March 29th, 82, Superdome in New Orleans. Michael Jordan's game winner against Georgetown. 61,000. Who would have thunk a crowd of 61,000 would cram into the Superdome to see what turned out to be one of the most, if not the most, iconic moment in college basketball?
Now we can see that. 1982, on the other hand, not so
much.
Not so much, no. Right. And especially given the circumstance, because people may not realize a lot of colleges, if you were a freshman, you redshirted that freshman year. You didn't play.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
You have to wait till your sophomore year to get on the court or field. So here's Michael Jordan, freshman Michael Jordan,
a true
giving the ball at the last few seconds of a crucial game. That never happened. I'm just saying never happened. No. It was very rare that it did. It usually went to the hands of a veteran, someone who knows the system and knows how it works and been there for a while. But that alone cemented history, because you saw the trajectory. You saw a lot of freshmen coming in starting.
And you saw two freshmen on the floor that night, Patrick Ewing being the other.
Too.
Because if you think that launched his career, even though there was a loss in that game, it launched Michael Jordan's career and it launched Patrick Ewing's career. So you had two dynamic freshmen who were well known across the country playing in the Superdome in front of 61,000 people. And I bring up that number because now with the Final Four, what's the precedent? You got to seat at least 70,000. We got to play in a place that has at least 70,000. No one could have seen that back in 82 when that record crowd came into the Superdome. No one could have seen that coming.
Well, you have to test and move the needle to see if it's going to work. So, like anything else in the experiment, if we can get 60,000 people to be there, and once again, people watching on television in their homes, then we can move it further. Because greed never sleeps. So if we can go past 60, keep going. Same with money. It's not going to sleep. I never saw money take a nap, so it's going to keep on going. So it's going to be progressive. So when you do things like that, again, it's to test the waters and see, can we move it to 70 and 80 and get the arenas or centers and have bigger crowds. So that's what happens. So when it comes to fruition, okay, now we have the template. Now we have what we can do to keep moving forward with that. Let me bring this up as well because you know how I'm talking about change. I love change, and we see all these different shows, sports-wise, on ESPN or Fox Sports 1. So first, congrats to Mina Kimes on ESPN giving her a new contract. I like Mina. Mina's another solid person, no nonsense. Her podcast is wonderful, and I'm glad that they're doing the right thing by certain people that deserve the break. So kudos to Mina Kimes for moving up, giving her a new contract that pays a little more than $1.7 million per year, which is nothing to sneeze at. So that's all right right there. Then ESPN has a new morning show, Unsportsmanlike, with I guess this guy Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman. Now, Chris Canty, that's my man, so I have no problem with him. In fact, he's the only one I know out of the two. I've seen the show a couple of times. Michelle is solid. Evan's going to have to grow on me. He come out kind of snarky to me. He's one of those guys that I think goes for a cheap laugh and wants it to be about him a little bit. I could be wrong, obviously, but having worked with other people over time, when you're doing shows on a daily basis, you kind of feel everybody else's personality out and see what's what.
Yeah.
I remember when I was back at WVON doing Cool Out Radio, and it was the four of us. It was Cool Out, a guy named Wildcat. He was a comedian, and then we had another person and myself. So it was four of us. And so I remember one time getting to know each other. He called me conservative. I said, I know you don't know who I am. you got it wrong, Doc. You call me conservative. That hurts my soul. That hurts my soul, Doc. I mean, that's like, but again, years later he apologized. So it was once again, and even the people that I was getting to know, like Tina was the lady that worked with us, the four of us. Man, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So years later he apologized. So once again, you get to know your cohorts and see who they are, how they operate. When you're doing radio, especially, you don't want to step on anybody, your cadences, things like that. So it just takes time. And again, I'm giving it time because once again, it's new. Once again, my man Chris Canty's on there. I like Michelle. They call her small. That's good. But the Evan guy, I don't know. That's going to take a little bit too.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Evan Cohen.
Evan Cohen, right?
Evan Cohen.
Yeah.
It's all right.
God bless his ministry. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, on a completely different thing altogether. So I was talking to a friend of mine, Enova. Enova is a good person I've known since kindergarten. So we go way back, literally, to babies and pacifiers. So we're talking, and I was like, man, I said, remember we were back in, went to a place called J.A. Neal Elementary School here in Chicago. I said, do you remember the lady that would be in the lunchroom and would monitor us? She said, yeah, Mrs. Ash. Got it. When I was a mere youth and I get my lunch from my mother, we get two, I'll get two sandwiches, like I'm two different people. I get two different sandwiches. One was bologna with Miracle Whip, and the other was PB&J. This is way before we started to have wheat bread in our house. So we had Wonder Bread, white bread, Wonder Bread, and either the bologna with Miracle Whip or the PB&J. I was a PB&J person myself. So I had this bologna sandwich. Now, mind you, I'm a kid, so you understand my thinking. I look at the bologna, it reminded me of human skin because it was pink and reminded me of a light-skinned person or somebody that has light skin that was pink, and it grossed me out. And I damn near did not go near salami because that reminded me of a black person with moles. So I did not want to even go near salami or bologna, just disgusting. So Miss Ash would say, Christopher, what's wrong with you? I said, I got this bologna sandwich and I really don't want to eat it and everything else. And my mom fixed it and I don't want to lie, so I didn't eat it. And she was like, we don't want it? I said, no, well, I'll eat it. So Miss Ash, God rest her soul, she's probably still alive, I don't know, would come around, and if I had the skin sandwich, she would take my skin sandwich and eat it. So that was great. Saved me from eating white people. So I had no problem giving her the pink skin bologna sandwich with a Miracle Whip.
White people.
No problem whatsoever.
So what did you think turkey meat was when you ate it as a child? Lord, okay.
I had no problem with turkey meat. I had no problem. That did not freak me out. turkey meat is good. I had no problem with turkey meat, but I like turkey and roast beef. That was great. That's a good combination sandwich. But the skin of a Caucasian and a person of color with moles, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, Doc. It didn't look good, especially the salami. The salami looked like the back of my Uncle Sylvester.
Oh Lord!
Because he had moles, obviously. Because one time, you see your uncle, changing stuff like that. I'm like, wait a minute, my uncle's back. So why would I have a festive occasion or to digest some little like my uncle's back? So I didn't go near it. Now, as I got older, I started to appreciate sandwiches more. So I want to go around the panel and see what your favorite deli sandwich is. So my favorite deli sandwich has been over the years some good turkey and some roast beef, and you put some nice lettuce and tomatoes and onions on that, some jalapeno peppers, some sweet peppers, some light mayo and mustard, and then on a nice wheat bread. I'm cool with that. That's all right. I can rock and roll with that. So anybody in the comment section want somebody your favorite deli sandwich? Cole, do you have a favorite, or do you eat deli meat?
Well, when I was younger, I did eat salami and I did eat bologna. But by the time I got to the military, I sort of weaned myself off of that. So, yeah. So for me, my favorite meats would be, if they were deli cut, probably would be like you, turkey and roast beef, and I pretty much would just go from there.
Same.
That's pretty much just my lane.
Same.
But oh Lord, but meat that sort of describes as either a white person or a black person that has mold, that would definitely drive me to not want to eat that meat ever again. Oh my
No, Lord. No, this is why I embrace peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
I had no problem with PB&J. That was my go-to. You talking about salami. My grandparents had salami in the house. I never went near it. It was in an Oscar Mayer container. It looked like my Uncle Sylvester's back. Please. No, Lord.
Not in this world.
No.
We're away from that. We're away from that too. Chris Bass joining us as he joins us every Friday. You don't know what's gonna happen when Bass shows up, but you're gonna have a
Don't
great
eat
time.
your Uncle Sylvester's back. Don't do it, Doc. It's not worth it.
I think this is
Thank you, Bass.
Oh,
you're more than welcome.
That advice right there will take us into our football weekend. Thank you, Bass. We love you. Thank you, brother.
Love you more. Thank you so much.
And now, the transporter to Hades, the reformer of hooker whores, and the bronze god, the one, the only, the legendary Chris Bay.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I will never look at a piece of salami the same way ever again after hearing
I
that
won't either.
comparison. Ever.
I won't
We gotta go. Have a great weekend. God bless. Enjoy your football. Remember to make your next move your best move, and always remember, if your dreams don't scare you,
then you'll be taking an
just like the Cowboys will Sunday night. We are out of here. We'll wrap it all up on Monday and get you ready for the Jets beat down by the Buffalo Bills. So long, everybody.
Mr. Ishanta Ryle, you're not impressed about the Lions' effort last night. Well,
I don't remember asking you a thing. I don't remember asking you